So yesterday we discussed two different programs. One was based on finding the length of the string, okay, and the second program that we wrote was to copy one string into another, right? So today we will move ahead and we'll do the third program on the list. The third problem statement is to find whether a given string is a palindrome or not. Okay, so let me share my screen just a minute. Okay, so what is a palindrome first of all?
A
The
letter
word
which can be read from the behind is the same as we read it from the front.
So if given a word, if you are reading it from left to right or from right to left, the order of the letters is the same. So it will read the same whether you go from left to right or from right to left, right? If you read it this way or this way, it's the same. Okay, so that is a palindrome. So this is an example of a palindrome. Now you have to write a program which will find out whether the given word is a palindrome or not. Fine. So how will you proceed?
We
We have
can
to think of
reverse
a
the
logic.
string,
You can.
and if both the strings are same, then it
Okay.
is a problem.
So one way is you reverse a string, reverse the
And then
given word. Right? So suppose the reversed first the original word is called word, okay, and the new reversed word is called reversed word, okay, and you compare. You compare whether the word is the same as the reverse word, okay. So you compare character by character. Okay, now so far we are not using any functions. Okay, we have not used any library functions. I told you, if you remember in yesterday's lecture, that string.h is a library which is available, which has some built-in functions which help you to manipulate strings. Okay, but so far we are not thinking of that. We have that library. So without that library, we have to think of. So in this logic, when we are reversing the word, okay, the thing is, okay, I can reverse the word. I can simply copy the word from the other way around. So I go up till the end of the string, and then from that location I start copying to a new string from the first location. That is what I do. Okay, and then what do I do? Then these two strings, uh, character by character, I need to compare. Okay, so this is a logic. This is a basic logic for palindrome, but this will be a little slower, I can say, right? Because it will take time. Na? If I do, I'm assuming I do not have any library functions with me. Okay. So what is the other way of doing it?
We can calculate the length of the string and go till L by 2,
Okay. So find out the
and
length
from
of
the
the
start
string.
from the
And then
start and end if the characters are same.
exactly. Okay. So what we will do is we find out the length of the string. Okay. And we have uh, two iterators. One iterator will go from left to right, and the other iterator will go from right to left. So one will start from 0th index and one will start from n minus 1 index, right? That is j. So I will start from 0th index and j will start from n minus 1 index, right? And it will keep on comparing. So it's going to compare. So I is 0. So what you do is, um, find the length of the string. start comparing first with last. So you will compare the first with the last character. The second character should be compared with the second last character, and so on. Yes or no? So I is going to move from left to right, J is going to move from right to left, right? And then you, as you're moving these two iterators, you're going to keep on comparing the characters which are there at those positions. So m of so word of I. So word is my string, right? So word of I will be compared with word of J. Is it equal or not? You will check whether it is equal or not. Okay, then what will you do? You will do an I plus plus and you will do a J minus minus. You will increment I by 1 and you will decrement J by 1, right? And then you will compare. So I will come here. I was 0, it will become 1 now. I will come here and J will become this, whatever it is. What happened? Someone is asking something.
No, ma'am, my mic turned on by
Okay,
mistake.
okay, okay. So this will be compared with n minus 2 and so on. Whatever the index is, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So J will become 7. Then you are going to compare. Okay. And so on. And when will this comparison stop? When you reach to half the length of the string, right? So in this case, I will again then come here. J will come here. You will compare these two characters. They are same. You will compare these two characters. They are same. Okay. And then I and J will come here and you will stop. So if this string, in this case, it is how what is the length of the string? Is it odd or even length string? This string that is given here is an odd. Yes, it is 9 characters. It is an odd length string. What about an even length string? Suppose the palindrome is Nitin. Nitin is a palindrome, right? Any Nitin in the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is an even. What about this? This is also odd. What about even? Any even length palindrome someone can think of?
Hannah.
Hannah. H-A-N-N-A-H, right? Okay. So in this case, your J, I'm just trying to tell you when to stop. That is why I'm taking this example. So I is here and J is here, right? After this comparison, we need to stop. So when do you stop actually? When do you keep on comparing? When should the this is a loop, right? You understand that this is a loop, and in the loop, I is going to move towards the right, J is going to move towards the left. But when do you stop this process, or till what point do you continue this process? While your I
-1 minus I.
Let's say when
No.
J is less than or equal to I.
You keep on continuing the process till your I is less than J. The moment
Yes.
your I becomes equal to or greater than J, you stop, right? Because I don't need to compare Y with itself. In the case of Malayalam, I don't need to compare it. It will be the same, right? So I can stop at AA, right? I can stop at this point. Everyone agrees or no?
For
Yes.
equal to, can you explain why?
Yeah.
Won't.
Ma'am, could you explain that even part again?
Which part?
If there are even number of the length is an
Okay.
even number.
Let us see both cases one by one. In case of the odd case, that is the Malayalam, the very original example that we have, can I stop at AA when I is at this A and J is at this A? Can I stop?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I don't need to check for one single letter because that will always be equal to itself, right? So I need to stop here. So what is the condition that you have achieved here? I is less than J? Index wise, what is the value of
Yes, ma'am.
I?
Yes, ma'am.
Now check Hannah. In case of Hannah, I and J, here I need to stop the comparison. What is the condition? Again, I is less than J. I is here, J is here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes or no? 0,
Yes,
1,
ma'am.
2, 3. It is less only. Okay. So I need to keep on running my loop while I is less than j. The loop continuation condition is while I is less than j.
Yes, ma'am.
That's it. The moment it becomes equal to j, I stop or crosses. In the first case, in the case of Malayalam, what will happen? I plus plus after this comparison, a and a. What will happen? I will point to y and j will also point to y. So in the first case, in the odd case, what will happen? In the odd case, I will become equal to j. And then you need to stop. In the second case, that is the even case, what will happen? I will come to j where j is. Yes or no? When you do an I plus plus, what will happen? I will become 3 and j will become 2, j minus minus. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So what will happen? I will become, j will become less than I, or I will become greater than j. That is what will happen. It's crossing, right? So in the even case, it will cross and stop. In the odd case, it will become equal and stop. Okay. So understand that the loop continuation condition will be while I is less than j, it will keep on checking. And when will it stop? In the case of odd case, it will stop when I equal to j. And in the case of even, it will stop when j is less than I or I is greater than j. It will stop at that point because because the two cases are different now. Because of the length, it is happening. But the loop continuation condition will remain the same. It will be always while I is less than j only for both the cases. So you do not need to write multiple conditions as such for writing the loop. Yes or no? Yes or no? Confusing. So let us write down the pseudocode quickly and then the program. Simple. You simply say if I'm using a while loop. So while I have I is equal to 0, j is equal to n minus 1, where n is the length, right? So I'll say while I is less than j. This should be my loop continuation condition. And then what do I do inside the loop? I say if, suppose my word is, the string name is word of I, the moment if it is not equal to j, word of j, then what do I do?
Print that it's not a palindrome.
Break.
Break. Okay. So I say print not palindrome and break. Okay. Break. Now what do I do? Fine. This tackles the not palindrome case. So if I have something like any word, Mumbai, it will say not a palindrome. Okay. Or if even if I have misspelled Malayalam, right? So that A is missing here. So in this case also, it is not a palindrome. Correct? This A is missing here, Malayalam. Okay. So it will break at this point. It will say not a palindrome and break. Now, inside the loop, is the loop complete? It is not complete yet, right? I need to update now, ing. So what do? I say I plus plus and j minus minus. After I make the comparison, I do I plus plus and j minus minus. Okay. Now, not palindrome case is taken care of. What about when it is a palindrome? So outside the loop, I need to do something, right? What should I do? Can I write directly palindrome? No, na? I need to write some condition. What is the condition?
Ma'am, we can initialize like some variable like count to 0, and if it's a palindrome, it will be incremented. And outside we can write like if count is not equal to 0, then print palindrome, something like that.
What do I know surely that when it is a palindrome? Like,
If it is j is greater than I or j is equal to I.
Greater than, if j is greater than
I.
that means it has crossed.
Yeah, and at that time
No,
it
J
will
is
come out of the loop, right?
Ma'am, or
no.
we can do one thing that we can set a flag variable. So when we see that it is not a palindrome, we'll set so flag is initially 1. So when we see that it's not a palindrome, we'll set flag
So
to 0.
there are two ways. The first way is correct. Not J is greater than, J is less than. See, this is the case now when it comes out of
I
the
is
loop.
greater than J.
I is greater than J. Correct. That
Or
is
equal
why
to.
that is why I was talking about this. Yes. If I is greater than or equal to J, then it is a palindrome, surely.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we will write that condition here. If I is greater than equal to J, it is a palindrome. That means printf whatever. Okay. That's it. So this will take care, right? Because not palindrome you have already printed. So if it happens to come out of the loop because of this break, then this condition will never be true. Yes or no? Okay. Yes or no? Because it has not reached the half, it will never reach the half. Otherwise, this condition will be true. And if this condition is true, it is a palindrome. This is one way of doing it. Second way is as Mukherjee, what is your name? Who suggested? Shrutiman. Yes. Shrutiman suggested that you use a flag variable. If you remember, go back to the flag logic. So flag logic says simply put a flag. Where will you put the flag if you're using the flag? This logic everyone has understood. First of all,
we'll put the flag in if loop.
No, this logic everyone has understood now. I hope so, because this have told you what when it comes out of the loop, what happens, right? So second question is where to put the flag. If you're going for the flag logic, then where to put the flag?
So instead of printf, we put flag and then break.
So here we will say flag. We will set the flag equal to
So
0.
initially it is 1 and then it will be dropped to 0.
Okay. So initially means before while, right?
Yes.
Before you enter the while loop, flag should be equal to 1. That means assume for now that string is a palindrome. The moment it finds a mismatch inside, flag will be set to 0 and you'll break out of the loop. Okay. So once you break out of the loop, you will check for the flag now. If flag is equal to 0, what will be the logic that you will write? So the flag logic is writing on the right hand side.
If flag is 0, then it's not a palindrome.
Flag is 0, then it is not a palindrome, right? Not. Otherwise, it is a palindrome.
Why do we have to initialize flag before the while loop?
You are using the flag variable to check whether this condition, the moment this condition becomes true, the one that you have written inside the while loop, if this condition becomes true, you know it is not a palindrome. So that is a check. Flag is a check. You're flagging it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. But even if
Ah.
you don't put flag equal to 1 before while, then also it will work, no?
But the garbage value can be 0
See,
initially.
it's very risky. That is what I'm saying. Last time also I told you, dangers
Understand.
of not initialized variable and using it. Always it is the responsibility of the programmer to initialize any variable that he's going to use later on. Okay, if you've just declared it and not used it anywhere in your program, then it is fine. You're just wasting memory, but you're not using it. But if you're using it, then it has to be initialized. That is a rule, programming rule. If you're
Okay,
using
ma'am.
C programming, because C programming does not force you to initialize it. In Java, if you do this, now it will straight away give you compile time error. C is not going to give you a compile time error. It will become a runtime error. Like he said that, what if the flag garbage value is 0? Then it is gone. Na? Then it will not work, your logic. Hmm?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, how can we get the value of n here?
Yes. How do you get the value of n? Use the first logic. String length, no? You have to run a loop. If you since we are not using any library function, there has to be a small loop before this. What is that loop? Finding the length of the string, no?
Finding
That
length,
logic.
yes.
Backslash 0.
Yes. Simply counter for loop used the last time. That
Okay, ma'am.
thing.
Got it. Thank you.
So I think this program you should be able to write, or do you want me to do it, or you should be able to write, right? This program. You want me to
Ma'am,
compile it?
that if part down in the first logic.
This one, what you want me to explain it?
Means why did you do that? If we break, then we can write. Acha, okay, got it.
It will write both, na? Otherwise,
Yes,
it will
sorry.
write not palindrome as well as palindrome. So you need that check. That check is required in any case, in both cases. Anything else? Any other question? Okay. So these are very simple programs that we have seen. The type of programs that we have in practical, for some of them, you might require the string library functions so that it becomes faster. Okay. Like string length, there is a function already. So you don't have to write this loop that you were asking me, na, what do I do to find n? So that strlen is a function which is available. So we will discuss a few of the functions which are available. There are a lot many. We will be discussing 4 to 5 functions which are there, which are used very commonly from the string library. Okay, and you can use them in your program in the practical, because the kind of programs that we do in the practical will be lab session. They will be a bit complex, not very easy. So we'll have one more session on strings, which will tackle those kind of programs. But before that, we will talk about the string library functions, okay, and how to use them. So what are the parameters? All that we'll see now, and then we will stop for today. Okay. Also, the concept of this is what we saw is this is a array of characters, right? String is an array of characters, so it is a one-dimensional array, so 1D array, right? So you can also have an array of strings, because many times you need to actually save your words. So if you're dealing with sentences rather than words, you're dealing with sentences, right? And sentences have words. So you might want to separate out the words from the sentence, so that you do some kind of processing. Maybe you have something like a question like this. Okay, you have a sentence given to you. The question could be something like this. Okay. and you want to find a particular word, you want to search for a particular word. Say, for example, this is a sentence given to me and this is a string, okay? And I want to search for a particular word. Say the search for the word is love, okay? I want to search this word in the string, okay? Okay, I find this word. And then I want to find out how many times it appears. Okay, so suppose my sentence is something like this. I love C programming and I love physics. Okay, so I want to count how many times this word has occurred in the sentence. Okay, so this is a problem statement which is given to you. So in this case, you might want to find out all the distinct words in this particular sentence, and then you want to find out the count of each word. Okay, so for that case, you might need an array. You might need an array sometimes. Okay, so array of words. This is an array of letters, right? This is a 1D. See, if I talk about a string, it is a 1D array of letters. Okay. Now suppose I want to save these words only. So I want to save these words somewhere. Okay. So in that case, I need to break it up. So I need to save these words. I love, see, okay, in the form of an array. Each array is having a word, not a letter, not a character. It's having a complete word. Now, I and C are single characters, but love is a word, programming is a word. So for such questions, we need to know the concept of array of strings. Array of strings. And what is an array of strings? It is an array of an array. Array of an array. Okay. So that is what is a 2D array. Okay. Array of a 1D array is a 2D array in string. Okay, two-dimensional. So you will have two indices. One will be, so if you look at this concept, I love C programming. If I treat this as an array, okay, each one index is going to sequence or going to index each word, right? And if I want to get each character of the word, for example, L, O, V, individual characters, I want to refer to each character, then I need some other index, right? Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3. So I need the row as well as the column. If I treat this as a row column matrix, then I need the row index as well as the column index to get an individual character. Okay, so that is the concept of a 2D array. So you'll be studying that, and then once you finish the 2D integer array, then we will talk about 2D strings. Okay, because you will require that concept. For solving such complex statements, problem statements, you will require that concept. Okay, so we will come back to it. But first, today we will just finish off with the basic library functions. So I will just share that slide. Just a minute. You can see if I'm moving it, you can see the slide moving.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So first thing is the string cannot be copied by the assignment operator. Okay. So to copy it by the assignment operator, I mean, I cannot use the equal to operator to copy a string. Okay. So this operation, we already wrote a function for it on our own, but there's a function which the library provides which makes this possible, and that library is string.h. Okay. So for assignment, string assignment, that is copying one string to another, the function name is strcpy. string copy, which copies the string in the second argument to the first. Okay, now understand, it is destination comma source. So see, strcpy takes two arguments. This function, it's a built-in function in string.h. It takes two arguments. First argument is a string, which is the destination string where you want to make the copy, and the second argument is the source string. Okay, it is destination comma source. Destination comma source, strcpy. Remember the order. People make a mistake here. They forget the order. So it is always destination followed by the source. Are you understanding? Source has to be copied to the destination. So if I change this order while passing it, it will not work correctly, right? It should work correctly. For it to work correctly, you should pass the arguments in the correct order. For a function to work correctly, you cannot change the order of the arguments. The order has to be correct. Okay. So string copy, destination comma source. So if the source string is longer than the destination string, the overflow characters may occupy the memory space which is used by other variables. So you have to be this string copy function. You have to write the program in such a way that you make sure that the source string's length is less than or equal to of the destination string. Okay, if the source string happens to be longer than that, then this function will not guarantee that it will terminate it. It might overwrite a few other variables memories and your program might crash. Okay, so have to use. So example is given.
That means one character is
Example is given that this string is very long and this one string is 20 characters only, right? So it's longer. This string is longer than 20 characters. So because of that, sometimes your program might crash because it will not take care. Yeah, again, you asked your question. What were you asking?
ma'am, overflow character means one character will be copied 2-3 times over.
No. What does this mean? I will explain. It's something like this. You have reserved an array of size. What is the meaning of overflow? Your array is reserved, okay, 20. You have said, my string size is 20. So reserve me a space of size 20 characters, 0 to 0, 1 to up till 20, 90, right? Now what happens is this string that you entered and you copied it into it, that means you initializing this string by some value, by some other string. What you're doing is you're putting that string, what happens to be that you are actually copying, that string actually is longer than the length of this allocated space. Okay, for example, let us take a simple example that your string size is hello. You want hello, but user entered hello world, or you're trying to copy hello world into a string of size 5. Okay, or 6, whatever. You are expecting hello, but user entered hello world. Okay. So what will happen? Hello will fit in. Okay, and then it is expecting \0 for the last character, but world is not. So what it will keep on writing. Then there's a space. It will keep on writing world. But where is it writing? It is writing in unallocated space. This is allocated. This space is valid. This is allowed to be used because you have declared this. But what if there is some, so this was suppose the string variable. What if there was some other variable I at this memory location? It's memory, na? What if there was some other variable I at this memory location? That memory location now has been overwritten. Okay, that is nothing but overflow. Overflow means you're trying to occupy memory which is not meant to be yours. Are you getting it?
Yes,
that is what is happening in the background. So this can be proved to be difficult for you because your program might crash. Okay, so you have to be careful when you are using strcpy that you do not do this kind of an error. Okay, now for that there is one function, that is strncpy. Now strncpy will copy the string based on the number of characters that you specify. Okay, so n means how many characters that you want to specify. So if the source string is longer than the destination string, the overflow characters are discarded. So now you are avoiding that runtime error that might happen. That means your program might crash. You are avoiding that if you use strncpy. See how are you calling strncpy? You are taking care. Even if the user enters something, na blah blah blah. Suppose you're taking that hello world from the user. Scanf se le liya, ya fget, there's one function. I'll tell you how it works. You're reading it. Okay. User kuch bhi enter karega na. User will enter some 30 character long string. You do not have control for that. Because you have allocated 20 memory, but user is entering 30 character long string. What will you do? You have to take care, na. So you should not use strcpy then. You should go for strncpy. What does strncpy do? It gives you a third argument. What is the third argument? The length. You can specify how much you want to cut short. So you say that I want only these many characters because my destination string that I have declared, it is only this much characters long. It is only 20 characters long. Okay. So one less. Why it is one less? Because the last character has to be a /0. Understand that. So if you're saying it, my character array is 20, I say char dest len 20. If I write something like this, if I declare a dest of 20, then how many characters it can store? 19 characters plus 1 the /0. The limit will be 19. Okay. So one less you specify as a programmer now. So destination, source as usual, and specify the length. So now what you're doing some smart work. You are making your program safe. It will not crash now. Okay. But when you're using strncpy, then there is some extra thing that you have to do. And that extra thing is this. Destination of the last character that you have has to be manually added. The null character that you have has to be manually added. Okay. So that is one extra thing that you need to have when you use strncpy. So usually when students do their programs, they don't use strncpy, they go for strcpy because that seems more convenient. But when you're thinking from a real world program point of view, when you're coding in C in the real world, these things will matter then. Okay, so for now you can use strcpy, but you have to be careful while entering. That's the only thing. Because see, you only are testing your program. Now, when you're running a program, you are only testing your program. So you will know that, okay, I know mine is 20, so I'll enter something 20 characters less than or equal to 19. I know. But in the real world, you can't say who the user is. User does not know the limits. Even if you're saying 20, it is user is entering 30. You cannot do that. You cannot control. That is the point actually. Okay. Then is substrings. So substrings is one more function. Now substrings function is same as using strncpy and passing the address. Okay. Now how do you do it? strncpy you use and you copy a middle or ending portion of a string. Now how to do it? It is a little tricky because the arguments that we use here, whatever we are passing here, if you see, what are these? These are array names, result, all these strings, destination, source, all these are array names, right? And what did I tell you in yesterday's lecture? Array name written as it is. What does it mean?
Address of the first one.
Exactly. So it means address of the first location, address of S of, if I say S1, It is address of S1 of 0. If I write this expression S1, it means address of S1 of 0. That is what you're passing actually to this function. It means that. Okay, and we have not done much of how we pass addresses. You have done one example of pass by reference, right? Passing pointers. One example you must have done, na? Swapping, swap function likha hai. Swap
Yes,
function.
ma'am.
So that one example you have done, but in detail we have not seen how to pass arrays to functions, na? So what you're doing here, I told you in yesterday's lecture also. Where were you passing it? To scanf, to printf. You were passing the arrays, na, to function. Okay. So array name you are passing as it is. So strncpy is strncpy result S19. What is this going to do? Result is an empty string initially. It's having garbage. Okay, and S1 is the source, right? Destination comma source. Into destination you're going to specify source. So you are specifying 9. Why 9? Because 1 is for the backslash 0. Okay, and then you say results of 9 is equal to backslash 0. Okay, this is simple. Now what if I want a substring only? Okay, so from this character I want only this part. From this entire date, this is a date, right? Jan 30, 1996. I want only that date 30. I want to copy only 30. I don't want to copy starting from Jan. I just want 30, or I just want the year 1996. Possible, na? I just want to copy the year from this date. I want to extract the year. That is, what is that? It is a substring. It is a substring 1996, 30. This is a substring. A part of the string, original string, is a substring. Okay. If I want to copy this, then I need to specify in the second argument. The second argument. What is the second argument? This argument. I need to specify address of that location. Suppose I want to copy 30. What is the address of, what is the location? First of all, I just compute 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I need to specify the address of this location. What is the address? How will I write address of this?
Ampersand S1 of 5.
Address of S1 of 5. So I pass address of S1 of 5. Okay. Remember, what is S1? It is address of S1 of 0. Okay. If I write this, it means I'm copying from the first location. If I write this expression, I'm copying from the first location. If I write this, I'm copying from this location, the 6th location, because it is indexing starts from 0. Okay. If I want to copy 1996, now tell me what should be the expression that I write there. So this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Tell me what should I write if I want to copy 1996.
Ampersand
S9. S11.
S11, S9 है ना?
9.
So, and then I will copy. I will write how many characters I want to copy. Okay, because I need to copy only 4 characters. 4 characters, and then I put the backslash 0 at the 4th character. So this is the change that I need to make. So I can use strncpy to obtain a substring. This is a kind of a manipulation that I can perform. Okay. So I think I'll stop here, and we'll be discussing the other string functions in the next lecture, and then we'll continue with other examples. Yes.
Ma'am, why aren't we putting backslash 0 at n? Why are we putting at n minus 1? Could you please explain? Hello, ma'am.
The base index is 0. So 0 to n minus 1 will be n.
Yes, yes. So when you're writing this function, when you say n means what? it starts, it's the entire length is 5, right? If hello, if I say length of hello is 5, but what is the index of, sorry, yeah, so at the last character I need, sorry, if my address, if my array is 20, length 20, then it will go from the range will go from 0 to 19. Okay, so at the 19th location I need to put that now. It's the 20th location, but it is the index is 19. The indices start from 0, right? 0 to 19. So the \0 will come at that location, not at 20. It will never, because 20 will be an overflow. See, if any array, if you write in C, forget about strings, any array that you have in C, integer array, float array, okay, if an array is of size 20, my indices will range from 0 to 19. Yes or no? Do you agree with this?
Ma'am, got it. Thank you, ma'am.
So at 20 you cannot store anything, it will be wrong, it will be program crash. It will allow you to put in C, it will allow you, it will run, but it will be compile free, compilation error free, but it will be runtime error. You cannot guarantee what you will get as output.
Ma'am, this substring function is only applicable while compiling now, because we must be knowing the string. What is the string? At the compile time, if we dynamically enter any random string, then we cannot use this substring function. No?
Yes. No. What you have to do is you have to read it, you have to store it, and then you can use the substring function. It depends on the problem. Like if it is that dynamic, then in that case you have to write the equivalent of getting the substring out of it. For that will be a simple loop which will run from that index and go up till the index that you have.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you.
Like if you want to find, I gave you that example of I love C programming. If you want to find that love from I love C programming, wherever it is occurring, maybe you want to find how many times it is occurring. Then in that case, that love, that word you have to match at every index of the string, every time. So for that, your logic you have to write a logic using your indices only. I mean your loop only. In that case,
Yes.
it will not work dynamically. Yes.